Here we are at the trailhead on January 30th, which was the day I was planning on doing my ice run. But we had a day 3 days ago where it was actually almost 40 degrees and a lot of the ice melted. So we may not have an ice run, but we're going to go check out the barrier, see what it looks like, and regardless, we're going to have another fun day on the trail out here at Park Point, Lake Superior. I still use my Onyx Hunt map to track my runs, and that's what we're doing now. It's simple. It's got maps for all over the United States. I keep it in a waterproof bag in case I swim. Supposed to warm up again today, we'll see. Doesn't make any difference how long I run. I always bring my full pack, if nothing else. It's all part of the training. If you don't run with a pack when you're training, how can you do it when you're on a 50-mile wilderness run, you know? It's all part of it. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that however minimal, it still does affect your breathing. When you have straps and weight across your chest. So it's good to train with it. So we're going to head out. The barrier is almost 3 miles from here. When we get back out there, I will start doing some more filming and see how it is. Or if I see something exciting, you know, like a really cool animal or something, I'll film in the meantime. But either way, I'll talk to you soon. Well, here we are. Here we are 5 minutes into the run, and I had to stop because it's just so beautiful right here. There's a lighthouse way out there. That's where we're going. Lake Superior. Look at the color. Woo! Big ice chunks out there floating. Look at the color of the ice on shore. Wow. And there's home. Duluth, Minnesota. Well, I guess I'm going to be filming more than I thought. Okay, here I go. I'll catch up with you in a few minutes. Just a quick update as we start approaching the point. running on the sand dune here. The beautiful grasses are just incredible. Some places are above your waist up to your shoulder. This trail takes you through these pine trees, which is mostly old growth red and white pine, totally protected. When I first moved up here, I ran the beach all the time, but running on that slope, whether it just be 10 or 15 degrees, just killed my hips. So I stopped doing that. We'll check in a few minutes. Getting closer. Beautiful. There's the barrier up ahead. Pretty soon we'll be there. Let's see what the ice looks like. Maybe there's no ice. Those rocks are all really dark colored. And when the sun comes up, they absorb the heat. So maybe the ice is all gone. Either way, we'll just do some rock hopping if it's safe. Get out to the beacon. See you in a minute. So here we are, the beginning of the barrier. Initial assessment shows not much ice on the rocks, so I'm going to cross the water right here, the frozen water, get up on the rocks and get started with the hope of making it out to the end where the beacon's at and having a little fun out there and then coming back. I'm just going to let the camera run, so if the battery dies, that's the end of the video. Otherwise, thanks for coming, and I hope everybody in the family is having a good January. Love you all. A lot of cracks. Just got to make it up on the rocks. Beautiful. No ice here. Up we go. Here we go. Basically, it's a lot of scrambling. Oh, look at that ice. Whew. That's where we're going. We'll take our time. Be safe. Trail running, you know, is a misnomer, especially when you're doing long distance. There's a lot of walking, there's a lot of hiking. There's a little bit of running here and there, especially when you're on a 50-mile mission. So far, I feel safe. Long way to go, though. You get out near the end, the degree of difficulty becomes much higher. Some of these rocks are as big as cars. And when it's all iced over, you don't really see the space in between. Getting hot already. Time to undress. So when you're running on ice, there's always a possibility you can break through, get stuck down in between some rocks. First time that happened to me, and I broke through, I actually made it down to water that's flowing under the rocks. Okay, got some clothes off. Well, open anyway. Probably don't need the gloves, but I do need them if I fall. I'll have some skin left on my hands, maybe. Here we go. We'll get into a rhythm. On this section, there's actually a giant concrete slab underneath the rocks because it catches most of the weather. And there are places where the rocks have moved because of the power of the lake and exposed the concrete. Somebody's been out here, at least this far. Coyotes. Now there's some serious ice, which is what it was like last time we came a couple weeks ago to check these rocks, and I deemed it too dangerous. Can't tell you how careful I have to be. This is like a rock, total harder than the rock on my feet. don't know. No spikes today. If it gets all icy, I'll have to put them on. There's a hiker ahead. On the trail from Ann's Beach. Okay, that's the end of that concrete. Now we're on our own again. I don't like this area. It's hard because you have to pick your line and you have to know when to just stop. There's no oops, I kind of missed that one. When you're out here, you miss it, and the only explanation for that is an expletive, which I won't put on a family video. There actually are some areas where you have enough flat rocks where when you're in shape you can literally run this thing, which I have in the summertime in my shorts and t-shirt. It is hot. Maybe when we get out, we'll get undressed a bit. Of course, all these layers are nice padding when you hit the rocks. Been running these rocks for 5 years. Probably went down 5 times. A couple of times it took me a while to get back up. I kind of don't like where I'm at right now. Gotta get over here on the sunny side where there's no secret ice. Just beautiful as we come up to Ann's Beach. Oh, I'm so hot. Might have to find a place to undress up here. Okay, this is the bad one here. Yeah. I really do enjoy running this when it's all iced over, but iced over with packed snow, because then my spikes keep me safe. I wear the Catula micro spikes, which are made in Flagstaff, Arizona. They're the best. I've had this pair for years, and I abused the heck out of them. Never had a problem. Never had to replace them. I don't like this area. I'm going to go down. And yes, I have stepped on these big rocks and felt them move. It's scary. That's something so huge can move under your feet. But the lake, especially after the spring storms, you will see, like that big boulder up ahead, you'll see those moved by the waves. I mean, huge force. Oh my gosh, so hot. I'm gonna have to find a place to stop. Take these clothes off. I was hoping to get all the way out there and change at the beacon, but it's starting to distract me. There used to be some logs that stood up in these rocks. I could stop. Here's Ann's Beach. Incredible. There's an engine right there. I kind of looked at it and decided that it was an old truck engine. It probably got left out here during the construction of this barrier. That engine there is probably from the 40s. Maybe an old military engine. I'd love to have it, but I'd have to get a boat, which I don't have. Oh, I don't like that. Maybe I can find a log laying down and stand it up so I can undress. There's a section up here where if you stay down on the bay side, there's a lot of flat rocks that you can run on. Well, that didn't sound very good. And if you're going to fall in, I prefer to fall in on the bay side. And if Mark, if you're watching this, you sent me a brand new Air Viper running hat. And I was just about here on the same mission within a month of receiving my hat. And I probably had a 60 mile an hour wind gust hit me. And off went my hat into Lake Superior. Oh, this is not a good choice. It floated for a while, but that was the end of it. Sorry, buddy. But it went for a good cause. I see a log up ahead. Maybe I can use it. There we go. Well, I'm going to take off both layers. I'd rather be cold than sweating. Go grab some calories. Here's Duluth. I do a lot of gel blocks, 50 calories a hit. When you're running long distance, you consume a minimum and you have to eat it of 400 calories an hour, sometimes up to 600 when it's cold and you're at a good pace. When I'm on a 50-mile run, it's the only time I wear a watch. I haven't worn a watch since I retired from nursing, but I do wear a watch on a 50-mile run because every time the second I wear it's an old watch, secondhand. Every time the second hand hits another 15 minutes, then I consume calories. And that's the only way you can keep up. It has to be a habit, because as you get more fatigued, for instance, on my last long run across the Boundary Waters, 21 hours straight into the night, your mind isn't there, so everything has to be habitual. If it's not, then your body crashes and you're done. You're laying on the side of some coyote trail in the middle of nowhere. It could take you 45 minutes to an hour to recover, even if you gulped electrolytes and ate as much as you could. I'm not going to talk as much now because it's getting a little serious out here and I got to focus. There we go, out to the beacon. That beautiful water, huh? Gosh. I could swim in that for a short time, anyway. Now, if I was on a 50-mile run, the layers I took off would be sealed in case I did swim. And that way, I'd have something dry to put on as I tried to survive. This is actually fun because it's been a while since I've come out here in the winter. I believe it was a year ago, January 31st. It was all ice then. That's why I refer to it as the ice run. Whew, that one moved, you hear it? Getting dangerous. Here we go. Beautiful water. Getting closer to the lighthouse. Look back at Ann's Beach. All the grain elevators. All the ships are stopped for the year. Too much ice. I'm not really in shape because I took 7 months off this year from running. So, bearing that in mind, I'm really happy with how this is going so far. See, that was a mistake. You can't do that and survive out here. Got hand warmers in my gloves, so my hands are sweating, but I don't want to take my gloves off in case I fall. Yeah, like I said, it gets trickier as you go. Especially at the end of the wall. There's another concrete section up on the end that you can run on, but it's going to be all ice, I think. Oh shit, that one moved. Sorry about the swear. If I go down, you'll hear a lot of swearing, but I know you'll understand. Look at that beautiful water. You can see all the stuff down there in the water. When they started reinforcing the harbor and building things up, they literally tore down hundreds of old buildings from the 1800s. and dumped the concrete brick remains into the lake shores to reinforce them, which they'd never do today. But there's a gal down there, lives on the harbor. In the summertime, she goes out in her boat and she looks for remnants of the old buildings under the water. She's collected some beautiful figureheads and, I don't know, I call them gargoyles, and interesting pieces of history. Then gone into the historical photographs to find them when they were still installed on buildings that have been removed because of interstate highway construction or modernization or whatever. It's pretty cool, but the amount of debris in the water is sickening. So I was out here a couple years ago, right about here. Might even see some remnants of it, but the remnants of a sailboat that had sunk and got washed up on the rocks and got battered and broken into pieces. It was floating there, and from the time I made it to the beacon and back, it had already moved with the current, which was flowing that way on that day, towards the shipping canal. So I called the Coast Guard. They confirmed they knew that the boat had sunk, but everybody had been rescued a week before. But they didn't know there were remains still above water. And I said, well, my concern is that probably in the next day, they're going to be out in the shipping canal and cause problems. So they came out here with all kinds of equipment, mini cranes and cables and wood beams, and they hooked onto everything and pulled it up onto the barrier, then put it into boats on the harbor side. They left all their equipment out here for a couple months, at least more, maybe 6 months. $1,000 come-alongs and huge straps. But then they came back and retrieved everything at some point because they were all gone. Everything is so big that, again, without proper equipment and boats, the crane, you just can't take that stuff and go home with it. Pretty interesting though. Got a bald eagle up ahead. We are doing good now that we're shed 2 layers. Yeah, I have this little camera that Terry bought me for Christmas, and my family, friends have always asked me about my runs and what's going on. And I thought, well, I guess I have a little camera. I could take a few pictures and stuff so they can see what I do. But then I realized there was no way I could send it to anybody. And I'm not a technical guy, but I guess the gigabytes are too big to text or email or anything when you have a video, even a short one, more than a couple minutes. So after researching, I found out that if I had a YouTube account, I could just load them on that and people could go watch them. And that's what I do. Not because I care about YouTube or subscribers or any of that stuff. Whew. we're getting there. That's where we started, all the way back on that corner. But this way, if anybody in the family cares, or is an outdoor person too, they can watch these. When I went to set up a place on YouTube to send the videos, it said I had to have a title or a domain name or whatever. So that's what I came up with, Old Man Runs, because that's what's happening. A 70-year-old man out shuffling along, trying to stay in shape. It's not like I'm ever going to be in a race, which I never have been in. Now, Brother Mark convinced me to come out to Flag one year, and I ran 2 of the local trail races there. I think one was a 9-mile, the other one was 13-mile. But I did it for Mark. I think I came in last or whatever, but it was fun. But those are the only 2 races I've ever done with other people. I don't like being in line with a bunch of heavy breathing, farting, peeing, talking humans going up some mountain somewhere, because that's what you end up doing. Some of the bigger races. Conga line, because you have a narrow trail and there's no way to go around them.